Yeah, welcome to the Getting Chopped Up show.
So what
uh,
happened yesterday? What was going on?
oh, dude, it was. I got brutalized a little bit.
All
So,
right.
let me take a look at the ES. So this was our trade yesterday. I was up here somewhere, like this is around the time, in this
Yeah.
area.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
This is where like I was making the trade, and then it was like I said it was gonna go up, and it did a little bit. It didn't. I think my stop was like up here somewhere. My take profit was up here somewhere. So
Yeah.
it basically like went up and then just dumped in the morning. I left it on, like I just left the trade on because it's play
It
money
didn't go
account, so
anywhere.
I didn't
It
care. Yeah,
didn't. Yeah, it didn't go anywhere.
but
So you just.
I survived this dip and then it went up and I thought okay it was gonna get good, but I went to sleep. I just left the trade on. It went up and then in the morning it just it shit the bed and then
Typical.
yeah.
Typical, like you said, like in the mornings or at the close, like you don't like those time frames. It's a swing trade, and here we are.
Yeah, I thought it would just run from here, like it was getting ready, but previous high was here, got broken almost.
Yeah.
It was like tap, 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 and then it just dumped. So it basically stopped me out of here somewhere. But yeah, and then it just came right back up, and then it made this gigantic move.
Yeah. So
But
that was the run right there.
yeah, so the trade didn't work out. Like it got stopped out here. That trade didn't work. But if I look at the dailies, the overall picture actually did work because I said this was going to have a little pullback and then it was going to run up. So that's what it did. It just made a big pullback and then it just started running. So it actually made a higher high. And it's still
Yeah.
getting close. It's still getting close to that level. So I figure another day, maybe two at the most, and then it'll fake everybody out probably. But
But again, like another thing, like we talk about is like we see a big wick there.
yeah,
Typical futures. I mean, we saw it on the smaller time frame. Like, it's just brutal. There's big swings, and even if you know what you're doing or you're holding, they're gonna stop you out.
yeah. I mean, I didn't expect it to go down that far, but yeah, it basically smoked everybody here on the open, and then it completely reversed, and basically like 2 3 hours in, it just reversed. And then this is obviously after hours. Like Microsoft announced they beat, Google beat. Um, so this is
Oh
all
yeah,
just after hours. Like everything got beat. But the thing I, the thing is interesting. It's like it shot up real hard. It's obviously above previous highs. I think
yeah.
this thing is freezing or something. Yeah, it's probably conking out.
Oh,
Um,
I see.
but you can see it's like above the previous highs because my computer's super awesome. It's just
Yeah,
freezing.
yeah.
Um, oh, there it goes. It conked out. I'm gonna have to restart it. Sorry about that. I had to, do quick CPR on the hamster that's running the computer. It had a heart attack, so had to CPR him back to life. So Thinkorswim is back up.
All
Um,
right, so
so yeah. So anyway, it conked out here. It like just died, and then it just reversed throughout the day. So I got stopped out here, and then it actually made the move. But what I was talking about was on the dailies, it's getting close to that rejection area. So the move still went in the same direction. It's still going up. The thesis is right. The trade was bad,
yeah.
but it's getting kind of close now. Can it still keep going? Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to have some resistance somewhere around this area.
Mm-hmm.
There's some resistance back here, some resistance back here. Like there's pivot points back here. So
Yeah.
somewhere up in this area, it might
I
have
just
some,
noticed. I just noticed this line. Is that like a VWAP or something? That blue
this.
one? Yeah, that one. Yeah, what is that?
Oh no, that's the volume. It's kind of like an average of the volume, but it sucks. I have to go
Okay,
in and edit all the settings.
got it.
Just ignore it. Don't worry about it.
All right,
It's just when I when I zoom out, you'll see the volume stuff. Um,
interesting. Looks like a
yeah,
heartbeat. Big
I
dips.
know. It's basically like an average of the volume. So if it dips or whatever, like the volume is going down, and I don't really pay
Okay,
attention to it.
got it.
And I'm not too awesome on like going on all the settings and changing everything. I
Yeah, you're not
don't really
hung up
care.
on it. It's just whatever.
Yeah. So anyway, the point is that this is kind of getting to that point where it's exhausting. Another thing too is like I think if you do a V, Fibonacci retracement. It's getting
Yeah.
to that 50% line, and
Yeah.
61.8 is up here. So between these two areas, that's like a good resistance where it can
Yeah.
easily like hit these areas and then reverse back. If it does, that's going to be kind of terrible because I mean, if it goes down and it gets rejected, the likelihood is just going to break this low and just keep going. That's going to be
Yeah.
just the market shitting itself, which would make sense, since the Fed meeting's coming up. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But anyway, so that was a trade. The wick stopped me out and totally
Yeah.
blew me out of the water. And
So it was a nothing burger yesterday trading. I saw the chart, the one you had on earlier. It just basically went sideways the whole night,
yeah,
and
for most of the
it
day, it
just
was just sideways. And
you didn't get stopped out, and you didn't take any profits. It just went sideways. Yeah, this
I could
the
I
other.
could have taken a little bit of profit there, but I was just like, I'm just gonna let it run. Again, on a live trade, like live money, I wouldn't do that. I would take my profits when I can.
Yeah, but you're
Um,
testing out the swing, and
yeah.
yeah,
So didn't see this big move down. This one actually I did see happen, but not this one. But
yeah,
anyway, and I don't wake up early enough to like get involved in this stuff.
yeah, and this is
Um,
dangerous.
so that was the trade yesterday. It's kind of like setting up again. If you can see, it's like higher high here, kind of setting up for another dump, but I'm not worried about that one right now. I'm actually more worried about oil.
Mm-hmm.
So this is CL oil, and this one is actually, yeah, lower high here, higher high here.
Mm-hmm.
MACD is already below the fast mover is below the slow moving average, so it's already indicating weakness. It's like it's showing that it wants to go down. This could pull back up a little bit, have a little bit of a high here and then dump. So
Yeah.
this is kind of the setup I'm trading right now. So I'll show you on. Um, this is the trade that I have here, and I know it's like convoluted and there's a bunch of stuff in there, but I basically took the trade back here somewhere in this area when this candle hit up here.
Yeah.
I took the trade somewhere around there. This one kind of went up and scared me. I thought it was going to stop me out, but it didn't. And then it reversed big, which is pretty good because now it's just kind of lingering. Hopefully, it doesn't go and retake this because my stop's like slightly above it.
I think this setup it looks more promising than yesterday's.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
I
and
think
there
it's
could
pretty
be
good.
a nice little pullback, and yeah, it had a pretty good run up today.
Yeah,
And it's settling, and you have that divergence that is a lot more prominent.
I do. I think this one's going to be. It's showing a lot of weakness. At least right now, it could easily just go and run up again one more time. Which, if it does, it'll stop me out. But then I'll just reshort it when it gets there. I hate chasing it like that, but
Yeah,
it
because
is
then
what
it
it
gets
is.
it's a vicious cycle. The same. Like, okay,
But
then okay,
but then again, it's like you see like small risk here versus like if I'm right, I get a bigger reward, more than 2 to 1.
yeah.
So if I'm wrong, I could probably take another trade. If that one doesn't work, then I'd probably just give up on it. But
And
yeah, again,
this
it's a
is
play account. So
yeah, and this is micros. I was gonna say, what is this? So, what are the pips worth here for each contract? Is it $5, just like the micro ES, or how are these?
no, so like okay, so here there's 1 point. So it's 80 like 83, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. So those are 1 point, like 0.28, 0.29, 0.30. Each one of those points is $1 because I have 4 contracts.
Yeah.
So if it moves one, so I bought at 85. This is now at 86 against me. So 1 point negative, it's minus $4. So
Oh,
I'm
okay,
losing
got it.
$4 with 1 point.
So, got it. So it's a one for one. 1 point for
$1.1, yeah.
yeah. 0.01 is $1.
Yeah. And
Okay.
right now my stop is like I think 20. Yeah. So 8405, 85. Yeah, about 20 points. So that's $80 risks there.
Yeah.
This
Four
one's
times
about
four
60, so
contracts.
it's like 120 profit potential if I'm right.
Yeah.
So
Plus a
a little
runner.
bit over 2 to 1.
Nice. Okay. So you
And not
have.
including the runner, this down one right here.
Are you also right now trading ES, or are you just doing? Do you do? Oh yeah, that was another question I was
So
gonna ask.
Funny story. So I logged this thing back on like throughout the day after it reopened at 3 o'clock. And for some reason, I don't know, I must have had a strategy or something on. It bought on the ES, it put in 8 contracts. Like ES is up here and I had 8 contracts short down here. That's why it's like minus $500
Mm,
because it opened and for some reason it had 8 contracts sold.
yeah.
So it was just like losing a bunch of money for no reason. I didn't make that trade, and then that's why it's like minus five
There's
hundred
no need to
something.
lie here. There's no need to lie. You super
Yeah,
traded, over traded.
I
No, I'm
griefed it. Yeah, I
joking.
chased it the whole way.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah,
Well, it don't matter.
that's why
Yeah, it
it's
don't
five
matter.
hundred.
We're just trying to figure it out, anyways. Win some, lose some. It's all good.
Well, I'm not really trading this account to keep track of like the wins and losses. I'm just looking at it to really just to get familiar with making trades, um, quicker, getting to like a feel of how to move the stops and how to set up
Yeah.
some kind of strategy, back test. I'm not really concerned about the wins and losses, but I think in like a week or two, I might put in a couple $100 to
That's
like
what
a
I was gonna
live
ask you.
account.
Yeah, I was gonna
And
say. So, yeah, how much you think you're gonna put, and when do you think you're gonna, fund an account?
I don't want to do it right now because again, like I don't want that 8 contract thing happening with live money because I'd be pooched.
Yeah.
Um, but I think once I'm a little bit more comfortable with this and this trading this, I'll probably put in a couple hundred, nothing big, just a couple $100 just to trade one contract at a time, but like with real money
Yeah.
and see what happens. If I blow it up, I blow it up, and you know, you get to see me go do stupid trades and whatever, or I just
Super
become
trader.
a gazillionaire with that one contract at a time.
They've been swing trading, paying interest for weeks and months.
Yeah, but I mean, if
Yeah.
anybody's gonna start like an account, I really think they should start with very small amount of money. Don't put all your
Yeah.
money and don't risk a lot of it because like anything can happen anytime. And if you
Yeah.
start chasing like I do, like you blow up accounts quickly.
I remember like when we were doing the futures trading, trying to get funded. What was that, like 2 years ago?
Yeah,
Something like that. I was chasing, man, and I had. I mean, you had better runs actually. You had better runs than I did. You were the top trader between the two of us, but uh, I I was pretty zen, and I was trying to be very disciplined. But it only takes one day,
yeah,
one bad day,
yeah.
where you're not solid as a rock to go chase and blow up the account. And that's what happened to me. I
It,
was super steady day in day
yeah,
out. Like I had my rule book, I had everything going for it, and super disciplined. I was able to like walk away from the trades and stand up and okay, I'm done for the day. And it just took one day where like no, I can double down and I'm gonna recoup those losses and some. Like no, and it just takes one day. It just
it
took
takes
one
one
day.
loss, and not even one day. It's one loss.
Yeah,
Like the
one loss
moment you take that
exactly.
one loss and you go back and try and chase, like get it back, you're done. You're gonna chase the whole day, and that's where your account gets blown up. And that was an interesting thing too. Is those at like around that time, you were doing good for a while. I was doing good for a while, and then it takes that one loss, and then you start chasing it, and it's like oh,
It,
on and
we
on.
lost it. Yeah, we lost it because of that one trade and like days of work, weeks of work, and it's just like there it goes. In a few hours, it's all gone.
But I will say that the one thing I learned from those days is when I put the stop, wherever I put the stop, I don't touch it. Like if it gets stopped, it gets stopped. I will not move
Yeah.
it. Like I used to just keep like, okay, it's just gonna go up a little further, so I'm gonna drag it up a little further. No, like if it gets stopped, it gets stopped. I'm not
I like
touching it.
that. I like that because I guilty. I would do that too. I like
Hmm.
that. Like leave it alone. Another thing that I would do when I would get blown up is, it would go against you. Obviously, I wouldn't have a stop or I would move the stop.
Yeah,
But then what do? I double down. I buy more
yeah,
contracts. Why? We want to average down. We want to average down, and we think the move is still going to happen. So then you start buying, boatload of contracts, and then you're in deep water, and then you're
yeah.
gone.
Because you
That's what
get out of a,
happens to me.
that's how you get out of a hole. You dig deeper, right?
Yep, exactly. That's how you win. Oh man, but
But
yeah,
yeah, it was good. I mean, it was a learning experience. Luckily, it was like we didn't spend a lot of money on it because it was just trying to get funded on those accounts. But
yeah,
I think when it's real money, even the little wins, like when it's real cash, the little wins, it's successful. It's like, okay, I did it right. I didn't
Yeah.
get stopped out, or you know, it got close to my stop, and it just, I had to sweat it a little bit, but then it goes your way, and it's like perfect. Okay, cool. I managed to not panic, move my stop, and then keep like getting deeper in the hole. Like you don't want to do that. If it stops, it stops. Whatever. You just take another trade at some other point. But it's hard, man.
That
It's the hardest thing to do.
yeah, it's discipline. It's like this is my game plan. This is my strategy, and you have to respect it. If it
Yeah.
doesn't work, then your strategy doesn't work. Do a different one, but you have to
That's
respect it. That's a
that's
hard
like
part.
yeah, it's like my brother says, dude. He said like my problem was not y- your problem is not that you're right or you're wrong, because you're often right on the trades.
Yeah.
Your problem is that you want to be more right. So even when
Yeah.
I had the profits, like I wanted to make more profit, and that turns into a loser. And it's like, don't try and be more right. Just be right. Take your profits, go home.
I like that. He should be a trader.
Exactly. I should.
But again, like before I started trading and I was talking to you, I would say like, I'm super disciplined. Oh yeah, I have a level headed. Like no way, I won't get emotional.
Oh yeah,
Like everybody
absolutely.
says that.
Yeah,
Everybody says that. Like no, I'll show you guys. Like I'll show you. Like no way, I got this. But once you see how the moves, how the market moves, and you see the potential gains, it kind of ropes you in. You're like,
yeah.
oh, no. Like everything goes out the window. You get emotionally like driven by it, and then you just like, I can't do it. I can't do it.
I don't know about
Like,
you, but
but
like the wins were not as exciting as the losses. The losses were like they destroy you, right? Like you
yeah,
win a really good run, and you're like, okay, that was good. Like I kind of saw it, and it played out how I wanted. Wonderful. But then when you start losing, it goes against you, and it's like close to your stop. Then you start moving your stop, and that becomes like really aggravating, very
I,
emotional.
I think you're right about that. I think we're like as humans, we're just like for the thrill. It's not even like
Yeah,
we're on the edge. Oh, we're sweating bullets over here. You're right. We do a great trade, and then what happens when you do a great trade? Oh, I could have done better. Oh, I
yeah.
should have let it run.
I
Like
could have been
in
more right.
I could have been more right. And then sometimes stuff are like super. The trade is super great, more than your expectations. Like it followed your rules. Your sell orders got filled, and everything's fine. And let's just say hypothetically, it runs 10, 20 more points, whatever. And you're like, I could have made that, but like no, everything was right. There's no need. There's no need
Yeah.
to 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 put yourself down. And then again, like you said, the losers were always like super thrilled about it and ready to lose more. It's
Dude,
like
the thing is like when you make the winning trade, it's you feel good. You're like, okay, I made a winning trade, awesome. And it's normal. It's like whatever. You get two or three, and you're like, I'm great at this. What that one loser just wrecks everything. It just wrecks your mentality, how you go about trading. You start moving stops. It just like you dig deeper holes. That
yeah,
one loser is the one that gets you. So I think like honestly, making winning trades is not difficult. At least, it's not as difficult. You can do a lot of those, like small wins or medium sized wins, and you feel good about them. But it's that one loser that wrecks you. And that's the
yeah,
hard part about it. It's like that one puts you on tilt, and then you start doing really, really stupid things like moving stops and then chasing, doubling down. Like that one is the one that wrecks the entire account. And I think
yeah,
when we were doing it, I think not having the discipline to just take the stop, let the trade go, and go, okay, fuck it. It went against me. It stopped me out. I lost a little bit of money. Walk away. Like, don't get emotional. Don't get pissed off about it. Just
yeah.
walk away.
I was gonna add another thing to all this. Is like because I even though we have to be robotic about this with our like limits,
I
our stop
can't.
losses. I know, I know. But what I was gonna add is like if the because I do like adding when it goes against me because you average down and it's easier to recoup, right? And
If it
but
recoups.
if it recoups exactly, but if that's part of your strategy, it has to be plotted as part of your strategy. Like,
But that
if,
but that's a strategy where it's saying, okay, when I lose, right? When the trade goes against me and I'm wrong, let me add to the being wrong. Like let me add more money to being
Yeah.
wrong. The trade's telling you you're wrong because it's going against you. And if
Yeah.
you're not moving your stop, it would have stopped you out, telling you you're wrong. So
Yeah.
I noticed that I don't want to do that anymore because all it's doing is saying you were wrong. You just want to be more wrong now. You know what I mean? Like just
Yeah.
leave it alone.
Yeah.
Let it stop you out. Wait for another entry. Wait for another good situation to not be wrong, as opposed to just adding to being more wrong. Like I like to do
But
is just, you know, I want to
I
be more
think
right.
Yeah, I think also what happens is like even if we have a set strategy and we're zen about it, right? And it's working. Let's just say we're like, you have a strategy, it's working, you know, you've been trading the strategy for 2 weeks. I think what happens also to us is that we get bored of it. We get bored of it, and then like that's when we start like trying to manage the strategy
Yeah.
or move things around, and that's when we
Well,
don't make as much or we lose more because we don't want
don't want
define
to be wrong.
results, right?
Yeah.
You don't want define results. You want to be a super trader. You want to make big money. So once you see your performance, I think that's what happens to me too. Like I see my performance doing well for several days or weeks. I get bored of it, and then I'm like, I want more out of it. So then I start messing with it, and then I just blow up. It's like you should have just left it alone.
Yeah,
But
and
be,
every strategy, like I don't know of a strategy that's 100%. Like you're not going to win every trade.
yeah.
You can try and get high percentage wins. You're probably not going to get a lot of profit from those percentage wins, but if you keep messing with the strategy, like, oh, I had one loss out of nine, like, okay, you have a 90% win rate. You lost one. As long as your risk reward is good, then you're fine. But then you tweak the strategy to not get that one loss, and eventually it ends up being three losses or four because you tweak
That's
the
a good
strategy.
point. That's good. That's a good point. The strategy's fine. It's okay if it loses a few times. Then you tweak it, and now it's just a completely losing strategy. It's like you
Yeah.
should have let it play out a little bit
Mhm.
longer. It's
Yeah, and
tough.
the markets change. Markets change, and they trade
Yeah.
differently at different times. So you just have to make sure that you're not consistently losing stuff. Which this is why I do this, strategy back test and stuff over
Yeah.
different periods of time because sometimes it wins and sometimes it loses, but you just want to get consistent wins over time. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
going to lose three, four in a row sometimes, but as long as it doesn't blow you up, you recoup that on the winning trades because you also win three or four
Yeah.
times in a row.
But that's hard, man. When you're doing so well and you have so much progress and you take a few losses or a big loss, you just know you just blew up 2 weeks, 3 weeks of progress, and you're like, God damn it, it's so
Yeah,
discouraging. Like, did I just waste my last 3 weeks of life? Like,
yeah,
if really hyper focusing, trying to nail this down, and now I just gave it all up, and now it's like we're back to step one. Like, what am
right,
I doing?
right. I could have taken the $100 or $500 and went and bought scratchers. I would have known the
Yeah,
results very quickly.
exactly.
Play the lottery.
Yeah,
But it's a game. It's a game, and you just, I guess, try and get better at the game. Like I'm sucky at the game, and I'm trying to get better at it, and it's fine. Like I have no problem saying that I suck at the game. I'm trying to get better. I hope everybody is also trying to get better because I know even the good traders, like they try and get better all the time anyway.
yeah.
So if I'm not at their level, I have a long way to go. But baby steps.
Never ending. This is never ending. The market's always every day, every week, every month, every year. Like they move differently. It's never linear. Because if it was, then obviously everybody would know what to do.
Exactly.
It's unpredictable.
And
It's
the funny part
unpredictable.
is the thing I like about this particular game is there's people who trade scalping, right? They trade 5 trades per day scalping. And then there's traders that trade once a month and they're both successful.
Yeah,
There's traders
I
that
want to
are
be that guy.
swing traders once a month and or once a year and they're successful. And then there's scalpers that are successful. There's many ways to win at the game. I think where I failed before is like you want to try and be all of it. And it's like, no, you can't be all of it. You can be whatever you're good at. Pick one and try and do that
Or
as
or
best you can.
or let the winning strategy pick you. Like, okay, this is
Yeah,
the one that works. This is the
that
one
one
that
works.
works.
Let's try that
Y-
one. Yeah, leave it
Yeah,
there.
maybe you want to be a scalper, but your swing trades are awesome. Like, okay, you're a swing trader. So, why do you have two charts? What's up with these charts?
Oh,
What's the?
okay.
I see 15 minute, and then this one says, oh, you have a minute and ticks.
So yeah, okay. So this one is 15 minutes. So each candle, when it opens and closes, is based on minutes. So it's every
Yeah.
15 minutes you get a new candle. On this side, it's based on 2,000 ticks. So every time there's a tick up or down, it counts
Mm-hmm.
a tick. So like right down here, it'll say ticks remaining. So there's
Mm.
1,113 ticks on this candle remaining to close the candle. So
Yeah.
every new candle forms every 2,000 ticks. So you can see like the candles look a little different than they do over here, but they're
Yeah.
the same thing. It's just the new candle gets formed with to every 2,000 ticks as opposed to minutes.
Interesting. Interesting. I've never done this. I never done the ticks chart.
Yeah, there's people scalpers. They tend to do like I think they have like 233 tick candles. You can set different ones. So there's like 100 ticks, 200 ticks, 300, 400, whatever. I
Yeah.
do 2,000 because it's kind of around where the 15-minute mark is, more or
Got
less,
it.
like maybe an hour.
Yeah.
But it just gives you a different visual of like the trend of like this one, the trend was up and then it's sideways. This one is too. It's just it's showing you that none of these have gone up to the previous high on the ticks,
I like. I
whereas
mean,
you can
obviously,
easily see it.
you could. I like the tick chart in comparison because it's more visually. It's more like volatile, so it's kind of easier to see the highs and lows. Where obviously the 15 minute, the sideways
Yeah,
is just boring. I mean, it's super sideways. The tick one is pretty like up and down. So, just at a at a glance, looking at the tick one, like okay, I'll short it now. At a glance.
yeah. It gives you a different perspective on like all this sideways stuff. You just get a small candle, like it's one
Yeah.
small candle that encompasses a bunch of these. But you can see that because it's based on ticks, not on time.
Yeah.
Those 2,000 ticks like really didn't go up or down. There was not a lot of volatility in those 2,000 ticks. So it's
Yeah.
really more of like volatility of the candle that you're looking at, as opposed to just the time.
Yeah, it's more of the volume, the price action than the time. I like it. That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. So it just gives you two perspectives. Like you see the normal time chart here, and then you actually see the ticks, which kind of gives you more of an idea of volatility and how big the candles per tick are per 2,000 ticks or whatever.
Yeah. So we eat. Super
But
trader.
yeah, yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm gonna leave this one on and see what happens
Bu-
tomorrow, and maybe
So
scalp some more options or something. I don't know.
so
Tomorrow's Friday, so who knows?
I was gonna say tomorrow when the market close, they close until Sunday, right?
Yeah, tomorrow they'll close at the futures market will close at 2 p.m. I believe,
Our time.
and
Yeah.
it'll our time, Pacific time,
Yeah.
and it opens up back up at 3 p.m. Pacific time Sunday.
Got it.
So, you know, between
Are
now
you
and
gonna
then, you can
Are
have
you
all
gonna
kinds
leave?
of meteor hits or something. I don't know.
Who knows? Are you gonna leave this trade on overnight, or are you gonna close it before you go to sleep? What do you think? If it hasn't hit any of your marks.
I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it.
Yeah.
I think even if it was a live trade, like I'd probably just leave it because I don't have too much of a risk up there. So I'd
Yeah.
just leave it and then see if it hits my stop or it hits my take profit between today and tomorrow. Only because I do think it will reverse, but I could be
Yeah.
wrong.